Okay, Stuart, I think woeful was the word you used most in your post-match on Saturday. Have you seen a reaction since then from your players?
Well, you get a reaction during the week, but obviously the main reaction you're looking for is on Saturday. This week's been a little bit disruptive, a little bit of illness in the camp. We had a split groups Tuesday. Obviously, the lads went and played at Burnley, which was encouraging. And then today we're trying to do sessions in a 50, 60 mile an hour wind. So it's not been the ideal preparation. But on the other hand, last week was a fantastic preparation. We didn't perform, so who knows? But no, we've had a few challenges this week, but we got what we wanted to do today. And we all are, we should be, looking forward to Saturday's game, naturally.
And you mentioned about the basics not being done right. As a manager, is that the most frustrating thing when if the players aren't doing the basics, then what can you do?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of frustration. We just had a meeting there, and it was only 4 or 5 clips, but little things that we need to improve on, little tweaks of certain things. But listen, you look back at it, the first goal he picks up in an area, he carried it a long way. It's a fantastic strike, a bit like Dylan Conley in the fact the week before when the Plymouth manager, sometimes you've got to hold your hands up for that, but to let it happen, the second time straight after time was hugely disappointing. We wanted to come out and really get on the front foot, and it's like anything, your second goal goes in, all the supporters are deflated, the staff, the players naturally as well, but then that's when you've got to show a bit of gumption. So yeah, but that's gone now. We've looked at it, and we've got to be positive and move on to Saturday and make sure we put in a far better performance, which we need to do if we're going to get a result.
Did it give you a reality check at all as to what's in your squad, if the basics aren't being done right, or if maybe the attitude's not right, if you go a goal down, that sort of thing, or not?
Well, I think that's the first time we've gone a goal down, since I've been in, and we didn't have a great reaction. So. Yeah, we'll see what Saturday brings, as I say. I think that was the poorest we've been. I think we can look back at the 2 away games. Cambridge, probably a lot had to do with the conditions second half with the high winds, and Newport, defended horrifically for the 2 set piece goals. Other than that, we did okay and probably should have got something from it. But Saturday was, for me, the poorest performance. Individually and collectively. I said after the game we'll struggle to name a couple that would get pass marks, and you're never going to win games if that's the case. So but it's gone now, and we've got to look and be really positive and aggressive and committed when we go out on Saturday.
Do you feel that positivity is there from the players?
Yeah, I think it can be. As much as you look back and think, away form's been dreadful, we've got to take the positives out the home form and the home performances. Did a lot of good things against Plymouth. And against Cheltenham at times, and a lot of home games this season. So that's what we've got to look for. We've got to be, at it. And as I said before, we can talk about it. What we're going to do, we've got to get out there and do it.
And you mentioned illness in the camp. Who's available? Who's not?
I think we're all available, but we had 2 or 3 of the lads who have only just come in today from last week. So they're obviously, you missed 3 or 4 days training. The couple of bumps and bruises we had from Tuesday's game have recovered. So big Curtis Guthrie's been back training with us this week. So I think actually out of the lads that are not available is the 2 long terms that we've had for a while, Joe Riley and Jermaine. But Zelly's just still struggling with his back and he won't be available. But other than that, we've got a fit and healthy group now. Let's say beginning of the week it wasn't that case, but now we're feeling better.
What's your thought process at the moment? I think for the fans, whatever the result is, it's immediately looking at the playoff picture. For you, is it playoffs are a bonus? It's just about getting a winning team and a winning side back together.
Yeah, it's just improving performances, which will help hopefully improve results. The old cliche, game at a time. Focus is just fully on Saturday, and then it'll be straight after the final whistle. It'll be on to Port Vale. So no, there's no. I just want us to be not setting targets of playoffs or so many points, just to be better than we were the last game, and hopefully that won't be that difficult. We've got to be better, and then just try to improve. Improvement. That's what the aim's got to be. Learn, pick up bits, and just get what we're asking and deliver.
And you mentioned on Saturday as well about that performance will open the door for others who aren't in the side at the moment, aren't in the squad. Have you seen sort of positivity and I don't know, enthusiasm for those who haven't been involved on the back of that to get involved this weekend?
Yeah, a bit of both really. So obviously the lads that were played and were involved in it know themselves they didn't play particularly well. So today, I say in the winds you can hear it here. It was tricky, but their commitment to doing what we asked them to do was there, which I would expect. And then we'll see. But we might make a couple of changes for Saturday. But again, as I said before, you don't all of a sudden become a better player just because the people that had your shirt didn't perform particularly well. You yourself have got to perform at a level to get yourself into that 11.
Do you talk to players about their motivation? Because obviously the playoff picture is there, but also there's players here who are out of contracts, or just in terms of their careers going forward.
I've had individual talks with a few of them, and again, confidence is a big thing in football. It's easy just to slate and have a go on that, but which you've got to do if they're not doing the basics and what you're asking from them and showing enthusiasm. But if you've got certain ones that are really doing the best, but the quality at the moment's not there, then it's a bit of everything. It's where you go about managing them. But end of the day, I think motivation's got to come from within. As a manager, you can get them up for it, or cuddle, kick, whatever you do, whatever's best for each individual. But deep down, you're going out to play a game of football, which are lucky to be doing and getting paid to do. So self-motivation, I think, should always come from within.
I was going to ask you about being at home and the sort of home comforts of the home crowd and that sort of thing, but at the moment we're not entirely sure as to whether it might be played behind closed doors. Coronavirus is dominating headlines left, right and centre. So how much is it dominating your thoughts?
Yeah, well, we'll certainly be at home. It's whether we'll have anybody in watching it, I believe. But no, listen, we just take legislation from obviously the government and whatever guidelines they set down. We've had a few things through this morning from the LMA, our doc's been in this morning, spoke to the players. So we're just fully focused on Saturday. Obviously it'll be a huge disappointment if it does go behind closed doors, because I think the home support is a big bonus to us. But you want people to come to the games, but naturally you want them to be healthy and well. So we're just guided by people above, really. But our mindset doesn't change in the fact how we're going to approach Saturday's game, and that's what we will do.
We have to work with the players if it is behind closed doors, or playing in a big stadium like Valley Parade, but nobody in there.
Yeah, we'll if that becomes the case, we'll discuss that nearer the time. But I'm not thinking about that at the moment. Until that decision's been made, then we just carry on and as normal.
Leyton Orient then this weekend. What are you expecting from them?
Yeah, I think they're certainly at home. They've had a good run. I've watched a couple of games back. People probably say again, teams in that area, they'll say they haven't got lots to play for, but again, it's personal pride. It's getting yourself a contract for the season after, or whatever it may be. So I don't believe in that, saying that there's nothing to play for, because it's your livelihoods. That's what you should be playing for. So no, listen, we treat every game on its merits. We think they might go a certain way, but I think we've just got to focus on how we're going about the game on Saturday, which we have done and we will do, and hopefully what we do will be enough to get 3 points.
And how much of your time at the moment is spent putting the building blocks in place for next season?
Bit of everything, really. Looking back at past games, looking at players, looking at our players that are out on loan, getting clips from them, looking at potential people coming in, watching football after football. And then I go home and I want to watch the Liverpool-Madrid game on telly. My missus isn't happy. It's just football. But it was a cracking game, wasn't it? But that's what, I'd much rather be doing it than not doing it. So I do love, trying to, look at what's coming up. But certainly, you should always be looking out there and be ready what becomes available. And that's, no different with us.
Thank you.
When you look at last Saturday and the previous away games, how do you work out in your head what is going on away from home compared to what is going on at home?
Do you know something? I don't know. I think I've spoken to managers about this throughout my career, about certain times you have a good home record, not a bad one. Do you do anything different? I think, listen, certain things happened last Saturday. We go behind to a really good goal. It gives them a little bit of momentum. But I think the second half, the first goal that early on killed the confidence and the belief. Through the supports, through the team, through everyone really. So, but there's no excuses. We just you know, we're at home. The next game's at home, so we've got to focus on that. And just like we have to talk about the away performance when they come, so when we're at home, we've got to talk about the recent home performances, and you know, we've got to take confidence from that. You know, one of the best records at home in the division. So that's what it is. The next game's a home game, and we focus on what we can do good.
And talking of home games, have you had a chance to have a look at the pitch?
No, I've not been up there, but obviously we've got a lot of wind at the minute, which will dry it out. I think there's a little bit of rain to come, but no, it'll be as good as nick as it possibly can, and it won't be an issue to us. We'll, you know, just again, hopefully the winds, because it's the winds that spoil it for me, but hopefully it'll be fine, and we can put on a strong performance.
Obviously, Stuart, the situation around regarding the coronavirus, obviously will indicate a bit of the lap of the gods. I mean, you know, when you sort of see what's happening in Europe, European leagues playing behind closed doors, is there a worry, you know, it's going to affect you one way or the other? Something's going to happen.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it wasn't going to be the case, but you know, you see in all different sports at the moment, behind closed doors, games getting abandoned, leagues getting cancelled for 30 days in America, whatever it may be, different sports. So yeah, it's a concern. In an ideal world, obviously we'd get it gets sorted, and you know, you talk about a period where, you know, you self-isolate and try to kill the disease off or whatever it may be. But at the moment, we're just, you know, I say go as normal regarding getting ready for the game Saturday. But we've had the dock in this morning, as I said, to speak to the players. There's hand sanitizer everywhere. They know it's not just washing your hands, there's a bit of everything in it. You're coughing, you're spluttering, whatever it may be. So yeah, it's something that's not nice, sweeping the world, not only the country naturally, but hopefully the powers can be, and the medical people can get to the grips with it, and we can get it killed off and not let it spread anymore. But at the moment, from a football perspective, it will be hugely disappointing, I think, to everyone to play games behind closed doors. But if that's what's going to have to be, then you know, that's what you have to do.
If it comes down to a choice between that or putting the season on hold, what would you rather? I mean, some people have sort of said they feel the game should carry on, and others say, well, it's not the same without crowds.
No,
put it back in.
It's really difficult because, you know, the time scale, how long do you put it off till? But on the other toss of the coin, and financially, certainly for teams at our level, you know, they're absolutely dependent on the income for the final 4 or 5 home games, and probably need it now. You know, if you put it off for a month, and that, I would imagine there'll be a few clubs struggling to pay wages, and that's not, you know, scaring. That'll be a fact. I'm sure there'll be clubs at our level and even higher up, if they don't get, you know, a couple of games, 2 or 3 home games in a month, will be struggling to pay salaries. So that would be obviously the worst case scenario. Well, the worst case scenario would obviously go ahead, and a lot of illness spreads naturally, but from the financial point of view, that'd be bad. I think playing behind closed doors it'd be really not great from a sporting point of view, from a manager player point of view. It's, you know, it's not what we would like, but if that's what has to be, it has to be. But again, there'd be discussions with far more intelligent people than me, that if we are going to have a break, how long do you have a break for, etc., etc. So again, I can't really say too much on about it. I think it'd be really not something I would like if it was played behind closed doors. If it meant having a rest for 2 weeks, maybe, but if it was going to be a month, you know, then
no guarantee how long you can divide it up.
Exactly. So we'll just have to wait and see what's being said.
Closed doors out. Have you ever been involved in any competitive ones?
Do you know, I think in Europe with Rangers a couple of times we went away. In fact, I think there was one stage, I think only Rangers supporters or away supporters were allowed in, so we had about 2,000 or 3,000 supporters there. But yeah, it's going back to even your pre-season games or your checker train games, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's and especially in a stadium like ours, you know, and the home form that we've got is down to have a good home form, is down to the support we get at home, and teams coming and, you know, being in a little bit of awe of it. So I certainly know if it was happening this Saturday, it would certainly give a boost to Orient. But hopefully that won't be the case, and you know, we can play behind a vibrant crowd on Saturday, and we can get them enthralled and putting a strong performance. And that's, at this moment in time, that's what we're looking forward to do.
You've been back just over a month now. How happy are you with how it's gone?
Absolutely delighted in the fact that I'm back and loving every minute of it. Regarding obviously results and performances, mixed bag. If we go back, obviously the away performances, we've not yielded a point. Home performances have been okay. And again, losing goals in like Grimsby, 92nd minute, Cambridge, we could have had a few more points. But all in all, I think, you know, the more time I see the players, the better it is, certainly for myself and Kenny. And we can start making decisions on how we want to be next season. Yeah, on a points level, it could have been a lot better. But you know, we strive to do the best, and you know, in the meantime, we're always evaluating and looking, you know, obviously short term to the next game, but long term to next season.
In terms of the challenges, has it been harder or easier than you expected when you first walked back through the door?
No, I think as much, you know, I had a lot of people. I said a lot of people that have been to watch, you know, Bradford a lot. A couple of players that I used to play with, ex-pals, have been down, and you know, don't get carried away with how many points you got, because a lot of games we've probably not been the dominant side, and maybe got a few more points than maybe warranted. Maybe that's what I was hearing. But you know, you always have belief in that you try to get the best out of what you've got, and you know, again, it's not doom and gloom. You know, if we can put a couple of wins together, it can still be a good end to the season, and we've got to believe that. But also on the other toss, the last couple of games we've had a couple of good young players perform really well, which augurs well for the future, and we want to keep building them up, and we'll get them involved sooner rather than later.
Did you have to lift the group when you came? If so, how hard was that?
No, not really. I think the first home game against Grimsby, the supporters were right behind the players and that. I think the lifting comes when you go, you know, you lose your 2 away games back to back and games you've been ahead in. But that's part and parcel of being a manager and being a coach. It's about a bit of everything: motivation, getting your own selections right, you know, personnel, tactically, whatever it may be. And it's something that we're always, you know, you analyse yourself as much as anything.
Do you think you've been able to put your own stamp on it, or is that still a work in progress?
No, I think that's a working. But we're trying to get little bits, habits, which, you know, I'll be disappointed if a lot of them haven't been. Well, they have been driven into the lads, you know, taking responsibility, you know, lots of different things. I think the lads are under no illusions what we're after, and if they can't do what we're asking, then they know they probably won't be here next season. As long as they try to do what we're asking, then that's the best you can ask for. You know, they try to do it, and you know, there's a lot of situations you've got to look at different things. But no, I think we can get what we're after in them, but it takes time naturally.
You mentioned improvement being the key. You want to see continuous improvement. Are you seeing that on the training ground?
Some days, you know, and I think that's the level you're at. Your inconsistency is huge. You know, one week you think, yeah, we're getting there. Next week, certain things that you've worked on, you know, you've got to keep reminding them. I think the key is, and I knew that from a player coming down a level, that you've got a repetition, because people do switch off a little bit more and forget certain things. So you've got to do it and really drill it into people in a positive way, not humdrum or we're doing this again and it's boring, but in a way that, right, this is what we're after, this is what we're looking for, and let's go carry it out. So, yeah, but in answer to the right beginning, I'm really enjoying the challenge. We know it's a big challenge. Before we came in, we knew it was a big challenge. Is it bigger than we thought? Don't know, but every challenge is, you know, has got its challenges, if you like. But it's certainly something I'm loving, and you know, we get where we can to end the season, see where we're at, and then really, you know, look to really stamp. I think you can only really stamp your authority or where you're going to play in your pre-season, when you've got 4-6 weeks of working without the result being the be-all and end-all. We're trying to do things now and try different things. You know, we need results. So when you get that 6-8 weeks, which will be in the close season, you've got chances there to do that.